Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day to start things off. Reports reveal that the People's Bank of China has registered 78 digital currency patents, of which 44 are blockchain related since at least 2016, ranking the People's Bank of China as the fifth most prolific patenter in the space, as this has been reported by China's IPR Daily. Further, the People's Bank of China has been actively hiring developers and economic specialists for its Beijing-based Digital Currency Institute, whose stated goal is to issue and distribute a blockchain-based currency. The project was originally conceived by the People's Bank of China's Deputy Governor Cao Xiaoshuan with the intention of protecting China from Bitcoin, an asset that it could not control. In contrast with the decentralized digital currencies we know and love, the People's Bank of China alternative could, in fact, allow the Chinese government to exert even greater control over the lives of its country's citizens. The current deputy governor of the bank, Mr. Fan Yifeng, announced earlier this year that once implemented, the Chinese-controlled cryptocurrency would replace the country's fiat currency and would ultimately help the bank curtail risks associated with money laundering and other crimes. Some of the patents filed by the People's Bank of China reveal what the Chinese government has in mind for the future. According to a Bloomberg review of recent patent filings, the government not only wants to track its citizens' everyday transactions, but aims to force banks to share all data related to potential borrowers before authorizing any type of transaction. Also, the People's Bank of China would be immediately able to prohibit any financial institution from dealing with blacklisted companies. Although there is no evidence that the bank intended to deny individuals from accessing financial services, the recent efforts by the Chinese government to establish a social credit system may point to this possibility. So, China has been a very large portion of the cryptocurrency news for quite some time. We had a lot of speculation. I mean, a lot of the news right now comes down to speculation as well, because we are speculating if not only if crypto is going to make it, but if crypto is going to be big enough that it'll be a threat to other countries. And if it's a threat to other countries, how do they kind of fight back and how do they find a way to, I guess, deal with it? We've seen the discussions in the United States between like Congress and other people in the CFTC and the SEC and the NYC and the ABC, all trying to figure out how to properly manage cryptocurrencies. And many other countries, I think maybe about 10 at this point around the world, certain countries have banned cryptocurrencies. Not to say that those countries aren't important, but I think it's countries that should be adopting it in the first place. And then on the other side of this five-sided coin, we have China, who was once a major player in the cryptocurrency space. And now people are starting to worry that, first of all, not getting into politics, what's happening inside of China is a little insane. They have found almost the perfect way to control their citizens, and it comes down to making everything digital. When everything is digital and it's on a computer and everyone can, or rather the government can kind of easily go and see exactly what's going on, that's an issue. They're like maybe three main apps inside the country that everyone is not required to use, but things are streamlined so that they're a lot easier. It has been the belief for quite some time that China would eventually potentially maybe re-allow cryptocurrencies inside the country. I think with every passing, not even every passing day, I want to say every passing month, we get more and more sorry, it's winter. We get more and more stringent news from China about what's happening, what they're doing. And it's a little worrying because I was hopeful at some point that they would have re-allowed cryptocurrencies, because we heard from other countries as well that they are fine with Bitcoin simply because the transactions can be traced. So I was like, okay, maybe China will at some point re-allow it. And the idea was, when you listen to different podcasts or other people who'd like write articles and stuff like that, because, you know, this can't be like hyper mainstream news. You can't actively talk about like circumventing a country's laws and stuff like that with cryptocurrencies. So the idea kind of is, if they had re-allowed Bitcoin into the country and Bitcoin became very popular around the world, other people in that country would start to adopt Bitcoin more than they would their normal sovereign currency. And then at some point, if we had like the privacy layers on top of Bitcoin, that will then only help other people within China. But the way that it's looking like right now is that they could, no, probably are, going to make their own cryptocurrency because I'm trying not to get too political or even just like really touch on the topic, but China is a major part of the cryptocurrency space. At one point, they, like how we have South Korea and Japan like controlling crypto sometimes, China was it. China was the thing that moved the entire market. So the fact that they are more than likely, I'm sorry, I had tea right before this. Didn't really seem to work out that well, I guess. It's just one of those days. Anyway, the point is they're probably creating their own cryptocurrency. That is a huge problem for a number of reasons for the people living inside the country. And should this work and it becomes a success, quote unquote, other countries around the world can then be like, hey, it worked for them. Why won't it work for us? And then they start doing the exact same thing. This is why I believe we have a good, I want to say good 2 to 3 years. Like we need crypto adoption, like mass adoption to happen really, really fast. So that we can kind of get around this, because even where we are right now with cryptocurrencies, I think we're doing fairly well. Remember a couple days ago, we had the news of how many new addresses are out there for this and how many new so-and-so is out there for this. I think we're making great strides, especially with the market going down. That's very good. I think, in my opinion, we need 2019 to be a very strong and good year to get maybe a 5-fold more people than we already have in the market right now to get into cryptocurrencies. I think crypto will then have properly solidified itself, because stuff like this going on in many other countries could be detrimental to crypto as we know it. So let's hope that crypto kind of edges forward before any of that happens. Apologies once again. So on the topic of Ethereum, which is in the news, and I'll give you some of my own thoughts about it in a couple of seconds. Vitalik Buterin, who is the co-founder of Ethereum, recently spoke about whether there were other projects inside or outside of the blockchain ecosystem that were using proof of stake. He also noted the key difference in Ethereum's proof of stake compared to others. Buterin started by speaking about other proof of stake projects, quoting the example of Tezos as a similar version of PoS, or proof of stake. He further added that PoS is fairly popular. However, the PoS which are present in the space are fairly simplistic. The co-founder stated that the foundation is planning on launching a much more powerful proof of stake in a lot of ways comparing to others. He further elucidated on how Ethereum's proof of stake is going to differentiate or be different than the simplistic versions. He said that the simplistic versions basically replicate the structure of proof of work, wherein the randomness of the mathematical puzzles that solved by computers is replaced with a randomness that gets virtually simulated inside the blockchain. Without going through all of his quotes and stuff like that, what is happening now is, at least according to me, is that and is really kind of weird. If you saw my last video where I was talking about the future of Ethereum, this almost kind of completely ties into it. Ethereum is not as or seen as safe as it was before. We had a huge 6, 7, 8 month gap in the year where the Ethereum team wasn't releasing a huge amount of news. They were kind of just not that they weren't doing anything, it's just like we weren't having constant updates. And I still believe that we should have had a couple of these updates that they've been promising us from before. And now what we have now is that as prices are going down, kind of, quote unquote, we have more people from the Ethereum team. We've had so much news from Vitalik Buterin, and I believe the guy's name is Joseph Poon. Hope that's his name. In the last couple of weeks, talking about the future of Ethereum. I think that they understand what's happening. I think that they see that they are probably going to potentially be left behind. We have a lot of people from the Ethereum side talking about the future of proof of stake. Hopefully we do get proof of stake in 2019. I'm still, oh my gosh, I guess I'm still kind of optimistic about the entire thing, but it seems to be just a lot of talk right now. And I hate to say that about the Ethereum project. I was listening to something yesterday, and I'm going to start taking a pen outside, so whenever I listen to a podcast, I can write it on the inside of my hand, so I can come back home and just kind of tell everybody what I'm listening to, so I can stop saying the words I was listening to a podcast without telling you what podcast I'm listening to. I always feel so bad when people ask me what podcast am I listening to for this information, and I'm like, I kind of shrug my shoulders because I'm like, I don't remember. I usually download like 15 podcasts a day, like 11 of them or 12 of them end up being like crypto ones, and they have like an autoplay feature. So when one plays, then that finishes, the next one kind of plays, and they kind of all blend together. But I know that I've heard information, and this is the information that I relay to everyone else. Anyway, one of the podcasts, they were talking about how Ethereum is like kind of in trouble and they really need to get it together. And I was like, that's so funny because I keep hearing the same exact thing over and over. Even when you hear about it on the news, I was watching something on CNBC, like you can watch the stuff online now. And they were talking about the crypto prices going up and how so and so and so, and how this one was outperforming this, and how Ethereum looked like it was going to be dethroned, and I was like the tone has changed so much around Ethereum. I still think they're going to do very well, but I think they just really need to kind of implement their stuff. I think talking about how your proof of stake is going to be better than someone else's proof of stake is kind of weird, but I mean, kind of go for it if you need to stay in the news and stay relevant and stuff like that. I just hope that they come out with it relatively soon. I like the Ethereum project, but it's time to start implementing those upgrades. Next up, this is not paid advertisement, by the way. Mobile cryptocurrency exchange and peer-to-peer wallet known as ShakePay has announced a new product that allows its Canadian customers to buy Bitcoin with spare change, dubbed ShakePay Change. The pre-launch of the service was announced in a Medium post. The new service connects to a user's bank account and debit cards, rounds up every purchase made to the nearest dollar, and uses the resulting change to purchase Bitcoin automatically. So if you buy something for $2.97, the remaining 3 cents is then invested in Bitcoin or into Ethereum. Each Satoshi purchased will be added to the user's ShakePay wallet, where it can be transferred to another Bitcoin wallet or sold for cash. ShakePay charges a 0.75% transaction fee. Not too bad. Anything below 1% is typically fine for buying or selling cryptocurrency, but it's free to deposit or withdraw funds. Like I said, not pay advertisement, but I love the idea of stuff like this. There was some kind of other app right before, near the cusp of when I was like heavily getting into cryptocurrencies. I mentioned this also before in some other video. There was another app that was just like this, where if you were doing normal purchases, and it would round it up to the nearest dollar or whatever, what have you, and that extra money would then go into like stocks and stuff like that. And I thought that was like the coolest idea in the entire world. So the fact that we have something like this right now could be very interesting. It says that this is only for obviously their Canadian customers. I'm going to assume, or I would hope, that someone else or some other company, some other app has made something just like this, where other people can kind of do the same exact thing, maybe all around the world, because crypto is a global thing, and I understand regulations, maybe it has to be like a country by country basis. If you happen to know an app that does something similar to this, please let other people know in the comment section below. And as always, if you see someone else write something in the comment section, please make sure to Google that and research that for the next 10 to 15 minutes to make sure that it is legitimate before you put any money inside of it, or whatever the case might be, any personal information that you may have to provide. I think things like this are incredibly interesting. A little always adds up to a lot. This could be something for people who maybe don't find the extra money at the end of the month to be able to put into cryptocurrencies. If you find the time, if extra 3 cents or something into crypto could be good for you, then this is definitely something I think you should maybe look into. I know I've been getting a lot of messages from people who are talking about they wish that they had more money, and with the prices being so low, they can't really do a lot. I mean, as always, do your own research, and I don't want to. Okay, whatever. I'll just say it. Before I started making crypto videos, one of my main things was about like saving money and stuff like that. And I mean, I think it's possible for a lot of people to try and save extra money. There was something I was watching a long time ago before where this guy was talking about, I must have mentioned this in some video like eons ago. This guy realized that he wanted to start saving money, and he simply stopped buying like candy bars and other things at the store. Like he stopped buying chips, he stopped buying fast food outside and was just cooking at home. And I think after like a 2-year period, he had ended up saving, I think, between like $45,000 and $60,000 because he didn't realize how much extra that he was spending. He sold the extra stuff in his house. He just didn't want. This is not me telling you to go sell everything inside your house. But there's always extra ways to make money. I tried to steer clear of giving like actual concrete financial advice. But I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. That's kind of the easiest way of me saying it. Anyway, I found this very cool, and I hope there's something else like this out there for other people, because I think the idea is pretty clever. gonna breeze over this one quickly. There's been a lot more news about Facebook the last couple of week, singular, pretty much coming down to the fact that a lot of people are getting hints that Facebook is probably going to be launching their own cryptocurrency. If it was up to my mind, I would say that they're probably going to announce something in 2019. I wonder how strong this cryptocurrency is going to be. Maybe about a week and 10 days, something like that ago, we were talking about someone else had mentioned, like an inside source, that Facebook is probably going to be creating their own cryptocurrency because they were aggressively hiring tons and tons of people. They were trying to get as many staff on their blockchain, whatever, on their side. And they were talking about with Facebook having, over like 1 billion people on their platform, if they find a way to cleverly either distribute this to everyone on their platform to be able to pay for content, or be able to pay for this, or to be able to pay for so-and-so, that could be completely monstrous. I wonder if things like that would end up being listed on like crypto prices on CoinMarketCap. I think that would be completely insane, because I have a very strong feeling that they probably are going to be launching their own cryptocurrency. And I wonder how much it'll dominate, because if we end up getting into a service like, how we have like Binance Coin, and Binance Coin for some reason is like being added to multiple other cryptocurrency exchanges, and like you can now even buy certain things around the world with Binance Coin, which I still find kind of weird. Imagine the influence that Facebook has, and imagine them creating a cryptocurrency, and then imagine let's say even 5 major companies around the world announcing, and a year after this cryptocurrency is launched, that we're accepting Facebook coin for purchases. That would be a little insane, and I think this is kind of the route that we're heading. Let's hope that, I don't even know. I don't want to say that I don't want it to be in like the top 10 position. I have a very strong feeling it's probably going to be. That's at least my feelings on the situation. Facebook is very rich. They have a lot of sway and leeway and muscle in the game, if you kind of want to say that. But on the Facebook news, let's move on. Next up, decentralized payment processor BTC Pay server now offers wallet support for C Lightning users. Following its most recent update, the BitPay alternative announced support for a Spark wallet, a client for the Lightning Network C Lightning implementation created by Bittraded, founder and Blockstream employee Nadav Ivgi. With the implementation into BTC Pay server's dock, users can now receive C Lightning payments in a Spark wallet that is connected to their BTC Pay server. Here's the tweet for it. In correspondence with Bitcoin Magazine, BTC Pay developer Nicolas Dorier touted Spark Wallet as the best C Lightning client out there, calling it a great user experience. He had been mulling over an implementation for some time too, and thanks to Ivgi prepping the integration for him in advance, the actual pairing of the two protocols took practically no time at all. There's a lot more. Not going to read through it. Not super important. I don't think it's random that we're having so much information about the Lightning Network over the last couple of weeks. I think look at that right here. This is another article where they're talking about how quick they think that Lightning is going to actually start expanding. I think this is all happening on purpose. I think it needs to happen right now. I think we've had an entire year since Lightning Network has been out. And now we're seeing a huge uptick in the amount of usage of it and stuff like that. But there's also a lot more a lot more articles floating around out there, and news stories where people are talking about the Lightning Network and how quickly it's going to expand. And I think this is definitely, I'm still of the mindset that 2019 is we're probably going to have a lot of information from a lot of different companies and stores that not only are they accepting Bitcoin, but they're going to be accepting Bitcoin Lightning payments, because realistically, like, what's the other one? Is it BitPay? I think it's BitPay. There's like 5 different major payment platforms for companies to be able to accept Bitcoin. And I've tried 1 or 2 of them. Payments can take about 4 or 5 seconds, maybe not that long, but when you actually look on it, like, it still is unconfirmed, but it shows that a payment has been sent. So I have a strong feeling if we do have another major bull run in 2019 and Bitcoin transactions are still backed up in the network, that is pretty much a no-no at this point, especially with all the talk about adoption in 2019. I think Lightning Network is definitely going to be the child of the Bitcoin story. But yeah, let's move on. to kind of finish things up, BitPay CEO, his name is Stephen Pear, has gone on record to say that he believes that mass crypto adoption is only 3 to 5 years away. He talked about the possibility of wider adoption when recently chatting to the American news network known as CNBC. 1 year ago, when Bitcoin price scaled the heights of $20,000 per coin, crypto adoption seemed to be even closer than before and was only a matter of time. However, calmer heads believed that 10 years was closer to the real number. The BitPay head honcho, okay, why not, believes mass crypto adoption is closer than we think. In the interview with CNBC, Stephen Pear talked about the potential of the BTC ETF and the possibilities of mass crypto adoption. When asked if the Bitcoin ETF would speed up wider adoption, Pear said that the ETF is not the be-all or end-all of the crypto industry. He pointed out that wider adoption will push prices higher if history is a guide. When talking about the timeline of mass crypto adoption, the BitPay boss was quoted as telling CNBC that, and I do quote, "I used to say 10 years, but now I think it's more 3 to 5 years until you can go into a restaurant, a retail establishment, and just everybody is going to accept that the store will be there to accept a blockchain payment," end quote. You know what's really interesting about that I just got right now? What's his name? Is it Mike Novogratz? There's one other, Mike Novogratz or what's his name? Tom Lee, one of them. I can't remember exactly who it was. At the middle of 2017, he said something, one of them, just think of them as the same human right now. One of them said something that they were like, in 5 years, and this is weird. They said in 5 years, people will laugh at you if you go into a Starbucks and you aren't paying with Bitcoin. That just hit me in the face right now. That's actually kind of weird. That they use Starbucks, especially since Starbucks is one of the first partners for Bakkt, and they have essentially announced that they are going to be accepting Bitcoin for lattes and stuff like that in 2019. That's actually kind of weird. Especially the time frame given. He said, I think it was either 2020 or 2021. He said, if you go into a Starbucks and don't pay for your coffee in Bitcoin, people will laugh at you, which seemed kind of weird at the time. But I guess if you look at where we are now, it does kind of seemingly make a bit more sense. There has been greater adoption by businesses in the past 12 months to use crypto as a form of payment, but the recent price crashes might negatively affect adoption in the meantime. CCN recently discussed Stephen Pear's statement that speculation drives crypto prices more than utility. In the same interview with CNBC, Pear told the news outlet his opinion on speculation versus utility by saying, and I quote, "A very big component of the price is certainly speculation. It's investors speculating on the future usage and adoption of the technology. A small component of the price is actual utility, and that's what BitPay is focused on, using the platform and delivering products to our customers that they find valuable," end quote. I think, if you want my opinion, I feel like at this point, the way that everything has been converging, this is, I think a lot of people who aren't into cryptocurrencies, aren't paying attention. They don't want to pay attention. And even people who are in the cryptocurrency space, I think the prolonged bear market has made people a little pessimistic when it comes to the future of cryptocurrencies and the future of cryptocurrency prices and where exactly crypto is going and as far as crypto adoption. If you watched my other videos where I'm talking about, remember, where was it? I had a video where I was showing all the stuff just surrounding Bitcoin, just around Bitcoin that people have been talking about. And that wasn't even all the stuff, once again, that I could fit inside of one video. It feels like, to me, what I think needs to happen, like really though, is I think Bakkt and the New York's the NASDAQ need to launch their thing. I think that'll kind of be the deciding factor. I don't expect Bitcoin to hit $20,000 on the day that Bakkt launches, maybe not even the first month. But I think we're going to start seeing something brewing very, very quick around the hype around them actually launching these platforms. Fingers crossed that they still actually stick to the same time frame, because we were actually supposed to have had it by this time right now, lo and behold. Anyway, I think 2019 is going to be completely insane. And I think when we have proper... When they launch their products, if the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ launch their major so-and-so and Fidelity launches their thing and crypto prices don't move, I can see a 10-year time frame. I could definitely see crypto taking 10 years. But if anything continues moving like it has been doing the last couple of months, and we keep seeing this huge movement towards the center of the cryptocurrency space, I think 3 to 5 years is definitely a possibility. I'm going to even go for like 4 years, somewhere right in the middle. And I think 2 years is going to be a huge bump up in the amount of people who are into crypto. But I think around the 3 to 4 year mark, it's going to be almost like an unrecognizable world. And I know that sounds completely insane. Pay attention to all the infrastructure that's been built around the cryptocurrency space, who's getting into it, who has gotten into it, how much money there is flowing into it. You have to, at some point, understand that the crypto news that we get is like a runoff. Like, we get the last couple of drops from actually what's happening behind closed doors with all these people. I can only assume the things that they have planned for the cryptocurrency space and exactly how large they plan on making it and how much money they think that they're going to make, because they're able to not control the market, but kind of control the market. To kind of finish things off, crypto right now, and I'm trying desperately not to hold my breath. The market's doing relatively well. I shudder at the thought of even saying that out loud. We passed by the 3,400 mark where Bitcoin needed to pass by. 3,800 was apparently another resistance level. And now we have a 4,200 that many people are calling for. 4,200, 4,300 per Bitcoin is the number that people are talking about that we need to pass by. As of now, realistically, I think we need to, if we can get past 6,000, remember a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when we had the whole Bitcoin Cash SV thing happening, Bitcoin was at 6,000. And then when they had their little tussle, Bitcoin's price fell from 6,000 to 32, something like that, wherever we just were. If we can get past that 6,000 once again, that is a very good indication that the market is healthy. Things are moving forward. The last 2 days have been all but phenomenal. A lot of coins are doing very, very well. I hope that this momentum continues. Like I said, I'm trying not to hold my breath. I'm really not. The prices are so low right now. Even if we had like a 100% increase, it still wouldn't even get us near 10,000 per Bitcoin. I think we can definitely do it. I think we need a huge amount of good news. Anyway, I think that is definitely going to do it for this video. What was the other like random news? It was something about that EOS is now number 4. It was that Bitcoin Cash had passed SV and Litecoin. And there was also news a couple days ago that Tether was like looking like it was going to be the number 4 coin or something like that. But as the market has moved back up, this is kind of where we are right now. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are. That's Wise at up 114%. Wherever you are, wherever you might be, thank you once again all for watching and or listening. I do appreciate all of your support. Thank you once again. Hope you all have a great day. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. See you.